Welcome home, everybody. This is the Residency Podcast. I am Jeff Tomasi. We got Drew Belcher and Lil Raven here.
Yep.
As always, we are here in Las Vegas bringing you our takes on the biggest story in entertainment, business, hospitality, and pop culture. Diving into it. As always, episode 29.
Woo!
It's not just us today, though.
Nope,
it's not
we got
just
a
us
guest.
today.
We got somebody.
Here
we go.
So if you want to know anything about hospitality, restaurants, how this side of the world works, we have a huge special guest today. Some of the owner of some of the hottest restaurant concepts in Las Vegas and the country, in my opinion, too. Herbs Rye and Cleaver owner Nectaly Mendoza is in the building. Thank you for joining us.
Everybody.
Let's
Welcome,
go.
man.
Let's get in this. We haven't had a foursome in a while.
Yeah,
We haven't had a guest in a minute, yeah.
Yeah.
And we came back with a zinger.
Yeah.
These restaurants are fire.
Yeah, seriously. We've been doing it ourselves. This is nice.
Herbs and Rye's been my eat it, I think, once, and my drink it once.
Yeah,
So
9 times.
Yeah, nine
Yes.
times.
So we do a segment at the end called Eat It, Drink It, Binge, where we recommend things to eat, drink, or binge, like consume, whether it be TV, media, movies, whatever it may be.
Nice.
And we even shouted out Cleaver and Herbs Rye multiple times.
100%.
There we go.
Big favorites.
There we
So
go.
thanks for coming on here. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
We're gonna get into all sorts of stuff today too. So be prepared.
There we go.
I got all sorts of crazy shit on this laptop. I'm gonna throw it your
People
way
getting
too.
indicted today.
You never even know. Yeah. Just so you guys know, none of this is edited too. So he has no idea what's coming. This is a whole tidal wave of craziness.
It's about to be good.
Let's go in there too. But this is going to relate to anyone who's interested in hospitality, interested in restaurants, loves restaurants to go to, work into. So this has a little bit of something for everybody too. But first, before we get into all sorts of crazy questions, give us a little bit of background. You said you were born and raised in Las Vegas,
Born and raised in Las Vegas.
which we love too. Las Vegas headquarters. This is who
Well, not
we
born
are.
and raised. I was born when I was 2 months old.
Okay, 2
Okay.
months
My
old.
mom
so
got
born and
pregnant
raised.
here.
Yeah. Wait. So you have him 2 months beat, Drew.
I got him 2 months beat, baby. Let's go.
Drew's a big born and raised type of guy. There's an asterisk ahead of your
There we
thing
go.
now too.
There we go. No, my mom got pregnant here, went back to Mexico, had me, so I have dual citizenship, and then came back.
Got it. Okay, that's
Nice.
great too.
Yeah.
So how did you get into the restaurant business then too? Obviously, if you're born and raised in Las Vegas, you've seen a lot of changes over your years.
Yeah.
How'd you even get into the hospitality sector in the beginning too?
Luck.
Okay.
100% luck.
Is that good luck or bad luck?
It started off as, I'm guessing, good luck.
Okay,
No, long story short, man, a lady by the name of Karen Ciccone. Well, there was a guy named Robert Mendoza. He actually owns Banger Brewing downtown.
Okay.
He basically got a job at the Bellagio when we were like 17, turning 18.
Okay.
And long story short, I was like, yo, how the fuck did you get a job at the Bellagio? Like, we were just into some weird shit at the time.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like, we were not the best.
And Bellagio was like the fancy, cool, like.
Bro, like, yeah. We had
Rich
never
money.
left that neighborhood. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
grew up in North Las Vegas, Civic Center and Owens in the Third World Projects, right? So
Yeah.
it's like,
Wow, North Las
The,
Vegas.
the hood for the people listening
Yeah.
that don't know
North Las
Vegas.
Vegas now is
We're the-
North
we're
Las
the-
Vegas then was who knows?
where the lights don't shine.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm from. So he got a job and he was like, yo, call this number for an interview. I ended up getting an interview with a lady by the name of Karen Ciccone. And long story short, man, she left me in a cubicle for 9 hours. She forgot about me. Oh. She felt so bad.
You
for
think
me.
she actually forgot about you? Or was this a technique?
No. She forgot.
No, she forgot, bro.
This is
9
like an
hours.
interrogation
Yeah.
technique. All right, I'm going to give him the
Yeah,
9 hour.
9
real
hours
quick.
is like a holding cell.
See you at
she
dinner.
knew I wasn't going to get the job when she interviewed me. Like,
Okay.
she asked me like 3 questions. I was telling you earlier.
Yeah.
She was just like, I forgot what the 2 questions were. I remember one of them was like, yo, where do French put the silverware? I was like, oh, fuck, on the table?
On the table, bro.
I don't know.
A smart
Good.
answer.
That's great.
Smart answer.
So, yeah, I thought I nailed it.
Not wrong.
Obviously not.
Where else?
And then she ends up leaving. She does like a bunch of other interviews. And 8-9 hours later, she came back, asked me who I was. I'm like, oh, Nectaly Mendoza, here for my interview. And she basically told me I was full of shit and to leave. So I left. I didn't want to be rude to her, you know?
Yeah.
And so I ended up leaving. On the way out, one of the girls at the door was like, yo, that kid's been here for like, I was like 17, turning 18.
Yeah.
And she was like, yo, that kid's been here since 8 in the morning. He was standing out front. He was like one of the first people. I don't know what she said, so I started walking down like, I think it's like Dean Martin now, or that we're deja vu and all that. 'Cause
Yeah.
The interviews were in these like fucked up ass Bellagio, messed up ass cubicles behind the Mirage at the time.
Yeah.
So I ended up walking down, and she like, I left, and she pulled up in like a Mercedes. And she's like, get in the car. And I was like, nah, fuck that. She's like, get in the car. And I was like, nah.
That's crazy.
Because she had left her purse in the cubicle. So I'm like, oh, I didn't get the job. And she probably thinks I stole some shit too.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to jail, and I don't got the job. This is a fucked up day. But no, I ended up getting in the car. I forgot how she said it, but I got in the car. She took me back, and she asked me where I was going, what I was doing. I told her that I had $1.25 in my pocket. I had no money. That's why I waited there. And what was in there was better for me than what was out in the world. So I think she just got kind of quiet, and then she's like, well, where were you walking right now? And I was like, I was going to Burger King. I was going to order a 99-cent Whopper because I have $1.25. I was going to order a cup of water and fill that bitch up with Sprite.
Yeah,
Smart.
And
Smart.
she started laughing, and she's like, you're being 100% serious. I said, yeah. She goes, I'm going to give you a job. And the words out of her mouth, she says, I'm going to untie your hands, but it's your job to swing at the world. She gave me a job at a restaurant called Olives as a glass polisher. And at that time, Tony Boganum was running the Bellagio. So I was polishing glasses for the #1 bar in Las Vegas at the time with all these like legendary bartenders.
That's rad.
And then I got handed a book on how to bartend, and the rest is history.
Wow, that's crazy.
wild.
But that's really kind of necessarily a lot of similarities to how the like success of people in hospitality. If you look back on it too, if you ever talked to anybody too, it's like, hey, I had the lowest job that was offered, right? I didn't start. No one starts as an owner or CEO or whatever it may be. Too. It's like, hey,
Sure.
I was a busser. I was a bar back. I was whatever it may be to a host or anything like that. That's just how it all starts, right? Everyone thinks it's all
for
romantic
sure,
in the
man.
very
And
beginning.
it's taking that opportunity and just running with it for whatever that end goal is. There probably wasn't an end goal at the time. I was like, I just needed a buck in my pocket.
Yeah.
And taking
yeah.
that advantage of that
I was
opportunity
just
and
trying to
going.
get out the situation I was in, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. Like, I just wanted to get out of because I knew where I was at was messed up. So I just wanted to get out of that situation. But I ran with it, man. That was it. I ran with it, and then I was there for 4 years. I learned a lot from a lot of good bartenders there and a lot of good people there. And she actually coached me to just be a better human being. She was real strict.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, she told me one day, she's like, you're going to listen to everything I say. I'll never degrade you as a human being, but if I tell you to jump, you're going to do it. And
Yeah.
she goes, and that's that.
And what was her role at the time? Was she like
She
food
was a
and bev?
general manager.
The GM. Okay.
Oh shit. Okay.
Of Olive's restaurant. So, yeah, but I remember the first day, I was eating.
Olives has been around for so long too, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
done now. It's closed now.
Yeah,
but
classic.
Yeah. So I remember I'd be eating in the EDR.
Yeah.
We never had
It's a buffet.
a buffet.
It's
Yeah.
a buffet.
Like, bro, we're about to put some weight on here.
Yeah.
EDR was great. by
And they got
go,
shrimp.
dude.
Like, whoa,
Yeah.
we made
Yeah.
it.
Crazy.
I might take some shit home.
It is free, bro. Let's go,
the way.
dude.
EDR, some of the
Just don't
EDRs
get
are
taken
actually
out of our
bomb.
check.
Let's
We
go,
made it.
Yeah,
dude.
thanks.
And she would pluck me in the back of the head, and she'd be like, sit up straight. You bring your fork to your face, not your face to your fork.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Iron your clothes. Act right. Everything you say has to be in full sentence. Like,
Yeah.
you don't answer yeah, yes, what. It's like, absolutely, I would love to do. She was just very strict. She ended up getting sick about a year later after I opened up Olives, and she passed away. But at that time, I'd already kind of made a move of I love the beverage. I got hooked on the beverage industry quick, fast. So I started working with a guy named Michael Mack, Todd Parmalee, Alex Rodrigo, Tony Boganum. And I just started reading a bunch of books, and it just kind of went from there. And 3-4 years later, a guy named Sassone walks to the bar top. He's like, walk out right now, and I'll give you a job. And I started laughing at him. I was like, that's the shittiest way to hire people. If I walk out right now on them, what makes you think I wouldn't do that shit to you?
Yeah, facts.
And he was just like, I'm going to hire this kid.
Damn.
That's
Damn.
right.
Damn.
So he fucking hires me. I quit my job. He forgets that he fucking hires me.
No.
And then Andy Massey is just like, give the kid a fucking job.
Yeah.
So Andy knew another guy that I knew that I was working for at the time. And then I was real cool with Andy. And
Yeah.
Andy always really looked out for me, but he put a lot of pressure on me. And then I was with them. We opened up Light, Caramel Mist, Fix, Stack, everything. And then about 3 years after that, he was like, yo, you're going to take care of all the beverage for the whole company. So I ended up becoming the beverage specialist for all of Light Group.
Yeah.
And I wanted, just things were changing at the time. Everything was changing. I had a daughter at the time. Even Andy was just like, what's your future? And I don't know. It was just time for a change. I didn't want to work for anybody anymore. And just that industry as a whole had buckled because we were there during the Wolf of Wall Street age of fucking
Yeah.
nightclubs.
Yeah.
They
I was
hate
walking
it.
out with $1,500 a night,
Yeah.
and you get
So that time span, you're talking about 4 years at Olives, and then this Light Group, you're with them for about 5-6 years?
no, 8, 9.
8, 9 years. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, great, yeah.
Yeah, so we're talking about Andrew Sassone and Andy Massey, the founders of Light Group, for the listeners who don't know who
My
those two
old
individuals
bosses
are.
as well.
Yeah, kingpins in Vegas,
Yeah.
legends.
And back then, Vegas was as deregulated as the city could possibly get. There was just
Yeah.
cash
Ape shit.
flowing everywhere. No one knew what the hell to do with it.
Bro, the shit. I'll tell you this. I was asked to do an interview about Light Group years ago. I just left.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, I love them too much.
It'd make for one hell of a documentary if it
Yeah,
ever
for
comes
sure.
to fruition.
Man, it's just like anybody who lived it and really lived it, they won't say nothing about it.
Yeah, I
It
worked
was
for
a
Light
time that
Group.
we all
So
loved.
did you?
Yeah, yeah,
It
OGs.
was a time that we all loved and enjoyed, and there was a lot of good things, bad things. It was life, but it was also something from the outside looking in that the world looked at differently now. Obviously,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at that time,
At that time, it wasn't
What
that
the
crazy.
fuck, bro?
Yeah.
I look at that shit now and I'm like, bro, I'm alive.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's literally fucking crazy.
Times have changed a lot, though, too. Surrounding outside
We were
of
the only nightclub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Body
yeah.
would show up in like 3 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was like shit that was going on was crazy.
So, what was your first? So, that moment when you were like, okay, cool, this is me leaving the worker man mentality and going into being an entrepreneur. What was that like? When did that transition happen? And what was the first concept?
It was Herbs Rye.
Herbs Rye was the first concept, right?
First-
Damn, not
What a
bad.
fucking home run.
Yeah, usually you don't know. It doesn't always work like that.
Yeah, man.
Talk about swinging.
I'm
Yes,
sure there's
home
probably
run,
some backstory though. I'm sure
how
it
many
probably
years-
wasn't always his.
How many years is Herbs?
10.
Wow.
10. Yeah, so there's a guy named G Money, Gerardo. He's the backbone of the company. Like, I get all the credit for everything, but he's just kind of like, he's my guy. And then I have Val and Chef Mariano who operate the kitchen and do the front of the house. But they came in later. Well, Mario didn't, but Val came in later.
So how did it start? What are the early stages, the beginning stages of Herbs and Rye?
We were drunk, eating across the street at Tacos Mexico.
Okay.
That's
Which is fire, by the way.
And I looked
This is good. I can do this still. That's other one. How about right there?
G looked at the sign and he said, "Yo, why don't you call that number?" And I was like, "Let's fucking call the number." Shit you not.
10 years ago, that location, by the way,
It was a shut down Venetian restaurant. Well, originally it was the Venetian, Larry Ruvo's mom's
Yeah.
The Italian restaurant, yep.
Legendary. Like
Famous.
Mr. Miyagi used to host the door there.
Yep.
Like the real Mr. Miyagi.
That's wild.
Isn't there still, you guys still have the sign, right? Hanging
One of
up?
them.
One of them, right?
One
yeah.
of them, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. The one from his mother gave it to me.
Yeah.
And then I dedicated one of the rooms to her,
Yep.
the Angelina room. She's a fucking legend as a whole. And then it turned into a bar called the Slanted Clam. And then it turned into a Mexican
What
restaurant.
a name.
Great name.
What a name.
Great fucking
I love
name.
it.
That's a vagina reference.
Yeah.
I went there twice. I was like, yo, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
I was like,
good history.
I don't know.
Good. You want the walls to be able to talk
I'm not
sometimes.
eating
you know what I mean?
seafood here.
Not eating seafood here.
What do you want? The fucking salad. No dressing.
No dressing.
But no. So yeah, that's it was those restaurants prior. I walked in and it was 2000. It was 2008 going into 9.
Ooh.
It's a fucking nice.
Kind of a crazy time.
Yeah, man.
The
So-
world was hurting.
He was getting ready. A guy named Mark DiMartino was getting ready to knock it down. He was a big investor. I forgot how the deal came about. I walked in, and he was just like, "We're getting ready to knock it down," or some shit like that. And I was like, "Yo, I want to buy it." He's like, "How much do you want to give me?" And I'm just like spitting. I don't got no fucking money.
Yeah.
I got money that I saved up from the nightclub, which is probably like 50, 60,000, if
Yeah.
that. In like, and I still got to sell shit to get to that 50, 60,
Yeah, yeah.
including like sneakers.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I know the game, 100%.
But no, long story short, I convinced him to finance me.
Okay.
It was in the middle of we didn't know the recession was happening, but you
Yeah.
can see shit was getting weird.
Yeah, housing. Yeah,
But like I basically challenged him. I was like, because he was like, no, you can't make a restaurant work here. I've already had 2 restaurants. And I was like, maybe you just don't know how to train the horses, you know? I
Yeah.
forgot what I said, but it like sparked him. And I was like, well, if that's the case, how about I'll give you X amount of money down.
yeah.
And then
You spot me the rest, and
Yeah.
it's a gamble.
if I pay two payments late, you take it all back. No questions asked. I'll put that in the contract. He was like, you're stupid. I said, well, then sign the contract. And he signed it.
Yeah,
And I bought that building for $1 million.
it's crazy.
Yeah. And
So
then,
you guys don't lease it. You own that building,
I
the
own the
Herbs.
land.
Then that's rad. That's
I
awesome.
owned the land, yeah. So off to the races.
Yeah.
Then we open up the building with no fucking money. I
That's
roller
crazy.
brush the fucking floors black.
Yeah.
Throw some bottles in the back bar, and I bought wallpaper at a fucking clearance sale. And a buddy of mine, Eric Yuri, started building the fucking. He like at that time he kind of knew about like how to build stuff.
To build like the bar and the
Yeah.
furniture and stuff, all
Like,
the fabrication.
And then we called the city, and they were like, "All right, let's
Check it.
check it out.
Code
And we're
works,
just
I
like,
guess.
This is amazing.
What were you serving at the very beginning? What type of food? Was it the same menu? Was it a
No.
similar style of food?
No. It was very similar to Olives.
Okay.
Not quite like Mediterranean, but like pasta heavy. A few cuts of beef, more so plated dinners.
Sure.
Plated dishes like chicken with mash, and it was nothing too major.
Sure.
We were focused on the bar.
Okay.
We were a bar that was going to have kind of food.
Cool food.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then
So the evolution over the time has been
amazing, yeah,
Crazy
It's
then, for
Yeah.
sure.
So we opened up and we opened the door. Our first day, we probably did like 70 people, 80 people, and then we wouldn't see a number like that again for about 3 years.
I was about to say, so how was this preliminary the first year or two? I mean, the fact that Herbs still exists and this was your first real big entrepreneurial project was great too, but how are those early years
Oh
usually?
man, I remember the day I signed the contract. I went home and like, president's on the news like, we are officially in a recession. I'm looking at my girl like, it's a good idea. Trust me on this. Like,
Yeah, what?
Babe, I got
you know,
this.
I was like, we had just like,
I don't think you know how business works.
we
I'm
thought
taking
we had made
advantage.
it. We had moved from like a 700 square foot apartment to rent, like getting a house off of Bonanza and MLK. And we're like,
Yeah.
yo, we made it.
Yeah.
Honey, we're
We're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't go well at all. I opened up. I think my slowest night was like $500. It was
Wow.
just rough. We ended up just putting everything into it. I mean, I was the only person with my dad. My dad had, gave me some money to do this. He just wanted to see me like not go to jail or some shit like
Do
that.
something.
Yeah.
Try
And,
something.
I had gotten some money from somebody else and on a loan, and yeah, nobody would come in. People just didn't understand it, like cocktails, classic cocktails. So the city was like really complaining that there was no cocktail bars, but the same people that were complaining were the first ones that were going to the nightclubs ordering vodka Red Bulls.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So there just wasn't. I don't think Vegas was ready for it. There was not really a crowd. There was a guy doing it already from the downtown cocktail room.
Yeah.
And he wasn't crushing it either, but he was doing it at the time better than I would guess anybody else. But for us to open up, they didn't want that.
Yeah.
So I went like 3 years and we just ate it.
Grinding and
And it was
grinding.
3 of us. It was a cook. It was 4 of us actually. It was Mario in the kitchen, me and G on the floor bar, and a server named Ronnie. And then little by little we started bringing on the rest of the servers like Deborah and them, but none of them leave. Everybody who's been there has almost been there from day one. Like
It's
they
amazing.
don't leave.
It's amazing.
Damn, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, man. So
That's wild.
Yeah.
Well, just so the listeners know, understand too, and if you're not from Vegas, you may not have heard of Herbs and Rye too, but there are a very few like iconic off the strip restaurants that have just never left and never changed and never moved. And that the time when you opened it was right before I moved to Las Vegas. So I moved in 2000 and end of 2010, early 2011, actually
here.
too.
Same
So
here.
right after too. So then like this time frame that I've been here, the Herbs has existed the whole time too, and just slowly became like this immovable object that is just getting bigger and bigger over time. But just so the listeners know too, this is like an icon of off the strip, which is difficult to really do over time.
It is my number one recommendation whenever someone from out of town comes and asks, hey, Drew, where do I have to go to experience something that's not on the strip?
100%.
Yeah.
I tell them Herbs and Rye.
Yeah.
It's driven, man. Like I went homeless there. Me and my guy had a kid. I had 2 daughters. At the time, my girl was pregnant, but I already had Alexis was already born, and we had lost everything. Because I was just like, if I make this work, it'll get everything else to work.
Yeah.
But if I keep my house,
I
and
feel
go
you
back to
right now.
work,
Yeah.
it's like, so I let everything go, man. I got rid of my car, everything. We stayed at Herbs until my dad had another house that he was renting that the renters had left, and that's why we had a place to stay. But no, it was rough for a minute, and then at that time, I mean, shit, we were working all day, and then I don't know, it started turning a little bit because we started winning shit, and then I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna market myself and
For the cocktail program, for the food, what was
cocktail.
Okay.
It was
Cocktails.
all bar.
Yeah.
It was bar.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was like, I'll tell you this. A breaker went out one time, and we were like, yo, that's it. We thought the power got shut off.
yeah.
Did weird shit. Like, my
Yeah.
pops built like a box around, I shouldn't say this publicly. My dad built like a box around the power box so the power company could check the power bill.
That's G.
So, like,
That's
we
wicked
didn't
G.
pay for like 2 years. It was like fucking crazy.
That's
The
actually
shit
really
that was-
smart.
It's actually really
Like, we-
smart.
like,
I
we
got some work to do after this.
Like we moved,
Yeah.
we moved the air conditioner from like the large dining room to the bar area, so the bar area would be cold because we only had one air conditioner. The other one's exploded. We would
crazy.
unscrew light bulbs, crazy shit, dude.
Yeah.
The shit we did to get that place up and running, was just fucking nuts. But when you're driven, then nothing, no money or no matter what investment you do will ever outpower the drive of passion. People will see
man.
that and go to your bar top if you're just treating them right over anything. That's why you have taco carts that are busy as fuck. That's why you have multi-million dollar, like the Titanic sunk, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever have difficulty? Because like you're saying too, is like how you treat customers is the number one reason why people are coming. I mean, granted, food is great and cocktails are great, and that gets people to go places. But for people to come back, it's some type of X factor, whether it's the people, or the experience, or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Did you find it difficult to provide that happiness and bravado and excitement when you know that you were living when people weren't, because you fake it till you make it mentality, right? Too. No one sees the bad stuff, but when the lights go on and everyone leaves, then you got the struggles of the daytime trying to make it work. Was that ever difficult to put on that face forwards and deal with the difficulties in the back?
I mean, when your escape is your work, that's it's the table's kind of turned, right? I never looked at work as work. I don't think I've ever worked a day in my life. I genuinely love what I do for a living. I genuinely love what I do. Everything about it. If there's nothing else I enjoy more than being at a restaurant than my children and my girl.
Yeah.
It's just nothing else really matters. So in my most stressful times, I was always successful because I was doing what I wanted to do and I loved it.
Channel that energy to the right place.
And to me, I just have a mentality where I just feel like I just can't fail.
Yeah.
It's just kind of weird. Even when I fail, even when I fuck up and I lose something, I learned how to not do it. Therefore, now I know the right way to do it.
Exactly.
So it's never wrong.
For sure.
So in my head, I'm always right.
I think you obviously had the
No, that was good. I like that.
That's what I'm telling you.
I like that. That was really fucking good.
But long-term tunnel vision is difficult, right? Because you can get beaten down, and a lot of people cannot take that, and it is tough. It is tough to deal with one thing after another, and it seems like the world's not on your fair, and you're a good person, and you don't deserve all this bullshit, whatever it may be. And just to say, hey, I'm going to be successful, I just don't know when. I don't know if it's going to be next year or 2 years or 5 years, but I had this tunnel, you said you're blinded to the fact that everyone's telling you you're crazy, you're nuts, I can do this.
I think a lot of people don't understand too is your first business is almost your best shot at being successful in the aspect is that you don't have fear like you do the second or third time. People don't really look at it this way, right?
When you're naive as shit, but this will be good.
I mean, it's like your first time going into business, you're almost fearless because you don't see the backlash of it yet because you haven't learned it, right? It's like touching the hot stove for the first time. You weren't scared touching the flame.
Yeah.
You were scared the second, third, fourth time. So that business mentality really works. So in your first business, you're like, yeah, it's going to work. This building's fucking perfect. You don't see the fucking, oh shit, there's no electrical, there's no piping, there's no nothing. But on your second venue, you're like, nah, fuck
you
that.
check everything,
I'm not walking into that one.
Yeah.
I was more paranoid of Cleaver than I was Herbs. Cleaver, I was like, it's a bigger project.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weight on my shoulder for it. Are you a one-hit wonder? The pressures can really get to you. And you just kind of not really worry about what the world thinks about you, right? But when it comes to your first venue, you're kind of relentless. You're kind of fearless on your first project.
I do have a question about Cleaver.
Which allows you to fuck up a lot.
Yeah, for sure. I have a question about Cleaver. Is that
some of you won't make it?
You had an interesting point where you said Herbs and Rye was eventually very successful, right? And has been for a long time now too. And anything that Herbs and Rye does right now too, it seems to just have this incredible cult following, recommendations
golden
from people,
touch,
like all of us too. That it just seems to work over time, right? This was a success story over 10 years overnight. Essentially, it just was a long stride to get there. But now it seems like there's just no losing. Why did you open a second concept instead of a second Herbs and Rye?
I've always felt that Herbs is special, and Herbs is a chapter in my life that was just something so beautiful, and at the same time there was a lot of stuff that happened there that was really dark in my life, and I just feel that for you to have, we're all artists, and for you to paint your artistry in its purest form, you can't continue to paint the same picture. You have to evolve, and all artists have different things. Some people have spray cans. Some people have the most beautiful paints in the world. I just feel that when it comes to reflecting your artistry, the moment you just start stamping up stuff, there's no real substance to that picture.
So is Cleaver just the evolution of where you are now versus Herbs is where you were then necessarily? And where
Absolutely. Everything has a meaning for it, right?
Yeah,
We're all wind going through a fucking whistle to make different sounds. I think that when you develop your artistry and who you are as a human being, and that growth has to reflect in your art as a whole. And some people won't get it anymore. Like the people that understand Cleaver evolved with herbs, and some people just want to be stuck at herbs, which is dope, and that's great because it's timeless, right? But like sometimes you just gotta turn that page. I mean, there'll be a day when I'm not even in restaurants. You never know.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think everything needs to be an involvement of who you are as a person, and for you to have a successful business, it really has to embody you. The moment you get into it just 100% for money, I'm all about it, but just do that. Don't try to pitch the story as I'm
Your
passionate
belief
about
system,
my
right?
identity,
Sure.
this
Exactly,
and that.
exactly.
Nah, the owners of Outback aren't like, we believe in.
Yeah.
Like, no, you don't. You have 187. How could you possibly manage that? And nothing against them.
Yeah.
Respect their opinion on it, but I just think that everything is a moment in time, man. And it was just time to. I wasn't even going to open up a second project. It was for my team wanted to open up a second project, and that kind of inspired me because I was kind of in a rut for a little while. I had like writer's block.
Man.
A lot of stuff goes
I hear
on
you.
when you open a new project, especially when you got that much fucking pressure on you.
Yeah.
There's only 3 Tales Awards in Vegas as a whole. And Herbs got to all 3 of them. That's like the fucking Grammys.
Damn, that's crazy.
That's
You think
crazy.
that's a little pressure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you open up, you're like, I'm kind of really comfortable at the house right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you sure? Yeah. I'm like real comfortable.
I'm like
Yeah.
very fucking
We're
comfortable.
really good.
Yeah,
and
for
then
sure.
it's like people walk into you, and people are like ruthless.
That they are.
Yeah.
People ruthless. Like you can walk in and be like, like if you made this, and people are like, that's a banger.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, we're gonna do our second flavor.
Yeah.
And that shit, that one, take down that one.
Like you said,
Like, we
that
live in-
expectation of your first business versus your second
man.
business, right?
I mean, we live in a world where people, judge or people base their self-esteem on the opinions of what the world sees of them.
Yeah.
And food and beverage is not
sons.
right or wrong. It's opinions, right? It's I could say this is the best steak I've ever had, and this steak is trash. This is the best cocktail I've ever had,
yeah,
too.
for sure.
This cocktail is
This
bad.
cocktail sucks.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no real right or wrong in anything, too. It's just an opinion-based thing. So it's like, how do I win the majority over and over again? We talk about marketing a lot on this podcast.
Yeah.
We talk about partnerships. We talk about how people have been successful, why, if we think things are going to work or not, too. Obviously, 10 years of Herbs and Rye. How has that evolution of marketing changed? Like you mentioned, we've had arguments on these like full of shit awards systems that everyone has their own awards now too, and maybe we'll do the Residency Podcast Awards one day too, and just throw our hat.
We
in.
have
Yeah,
to
we
now.
have to now.
We
Because
have-
talking
yeah,
shit about it.
yeah,
We have to do it.
have to
I'm
now.
choosing them all.
Yeah, for sure. Who wins? Whoever I say. Did those accolades that you won really propel you? And then how did you market them, or what did you do differently from a marketing standpoint and like evolve to get to where it is now too? Because that's, I think, from anyone who's in restaurants, owns restaurants, whatever too, that's kind of a cool indication of what you did.
Oh man, you're gonna laugh at this.
Great, I love this. I'm already pumped.
I've paid $0 in marketing my entire career.
Yeah.
Really?
Already knew that answer. Yeah.
I've never marketed in my life.
Wow.
No, I started an Instagram for Herbs 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Because I lost a bet.
I love that. It's
I
because
swear to God.
you did it because you lost
It
the
doesn't
bet.
need it, man. It's crazy.
I never market. I didn't even know what social media was.
Do you
Like,
think the anti-marketing is the marketing? Kind of.
I don't know, man.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like if
Yeah,
you're
it's like
not
a
going to
persona.
market, if you try to market and you bad market or you unsuccessfully market, it's bad. But if you don't market on purpose, is that the marketing necessarily? Is like I don't even need to.
You know what it was? It was when you get everybody behind you because you genuinely care. I think a lot of people, they try to hang out with like the big names and shit like that, right?
Right.
When I was coming up in the industry, I did everything on my own dollar. And when I would travel, I never thought of just like Vegas. I wanted to put Vegas on the map. So the way I would do that is I said, I'm going to go global. So I started traveling a lot on my own dollar. If I had $300 and they were like, yo, catch a flight to New York to do a pop-up, I would do that. And I would take the money that I would make and I would donate it to a charity. I never did any of the stuff to become popular or famous. I always did it just because I gave a fuck.
Right.
So I think those people started bragging about me, and then the people I would help was like never like I wouldn't go to the most popular bars in any other city. I would go to people who I knew and they were struggling. So I knew my name had a little bit of weight at the time. Like I had just come off like winning the Peruvian World Final. We had just qualified for Tales Awards. We were winning everything in Vegas. I mean, those awards that are.
Can you
hanging-
explain the Tales Awards real quick so that the listeners know what you're talking about?
Tales of the Cocktail as a whole is a 1 week event that happens in New Orleans.
In the swamp, in the
It is, too.
in the
It's
middle of
a
the summer.
And basically everybody in the world who has anything to do with the beverage world shows up there, and they have the Tales of the Cocktails Awards. So basically, best high volume bar, best bar team, best bar in the world. They have the U.S. categories. They have the global categories. It's just really hard to win. To make it even in the top 10 is crazy. To make it in the top 4 is fucking nuts.
And it's just grown so much over the years as well.
It just gets harder, right? Because
Right.
it's like the industry's like saturated now.
Right.
Yep.
You know, it's like, so like Cleaver made it in top 4 its first year, which is fucking nuts.
Yeah.
That's
And,
insane.
Yeah. So that was on a week ago. They announced it. We didn't win, but like to make top 4 your first year, that's
So,
nutty.
so do you think like the biggest advantage of Herbs and Rye then was like credibility at that point?
Credibility. We cared.
Yeah,
we
so
cared.
Yeah.
Like we did. Like
you had street cred from the people, by the industry, for the industry. Like you said, I know cocktails or I know food. It's like
Yeah.
you have to go to Herbs and Rye. Just trust.
and we were never above anybody.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
people would call us and they'd be like, "Yo, these like 7 mainstream bars want you to bartend. You'll be in Florida next week. All right, cool. But can we do a volunteer shift? And can somebody get me into Cuba? Why? Because it's poverty stricken. There's nobody giving seminars because nobody wants to. Because it's the hard route.
Yeah.
So like I'd be in the middle of Cuba giving seminars with Julio Cabrera. I'd be in Singapore. I'd be in London, hitting spots where nobody was going.
Yeah.
And those spots, a lot of those spots ended up blowing up, like getting credibility because I would go where people were doing really cool stuff,
Yeah.
not just because you were popular.
And it
then the
opens up
people that
your
were-
eyes too, right?
And, and then the people that were popular wanted to start being like them.
Yeah, of course.
So we just went. I don't say we went against the grain. I just really never gave a fuck what nobody thought. To be honest,
Do you ever just look at a spreadsheet and laugh when your marketing budget says 0? And you say, "Ah, you idiots out there with your fat ass marketing budgets."
it's just crazy to me, man. I don't know. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
Because it
but-
sounds awesome, by the way.
But it's part of his story, and then how genuine that venue is, right? And that brand is. It's
Cleaver had one Instagram post.
We're open.
One, and then it
We're-
wasn't.
we're
until,
open,
It
bitches.
wasn't until 4 weeks ago that I was like, "All right, we'll start posting pictures of food."
We're reopened. That's really what
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Yeah, we're reopened.
Yeah.
Grand opening, grand.
We're
closing.
open, reopen.
yeah,
But
for
like,
sure.
I'll tell you this: when I had my own Instagram and we opened up Herbs Instagram, I forgot that it was Herbs. So I was like, pictures of my daughters and like
Don't pictures of my shoes and shit.
Disneyland. They're like, "What's this got to do with Herbs and Rye?" I'm like, "Oh shit, my bad. Like,
Wrong
you
one,
can
wrong
switch
one.
accounts here."
Yeah.
Like, well, that's
Yeah,
how
yeah.
that works. It was crazy.
When did
That's awesome.
the idea of that happy hour, the famous Herbs and Rye
Yeah, that
happy
thing's
hour, come about?
notorious.
Oh man, when we first got into the industry, I wanted to open up what I call is the common sense bartender factor, right? We want a cool place with fucking dope food,
Yeah.
done drinks, and like that's what everybody pitches you, and you're kind of like, well, no shit.
Yeah.
Somebody says I want shitty food.
Genius, man. Good
Definitely
food.
don't want shitty food.
You fucking know that one, pal.
You're on to something
Yeah,
here, you know?
Yeah, you're really going places. But the happy hour came about when I was just like, yo. I mean, shit, a lot of people probably get mad at this, but like, yo, people genuinely rip people off.
Yeah.
Like, why are you charging this much? So you mean to tell me you're serving prime beef and we serve the highest grade below prime? Now, if I gave them to you side by side, yes, you'd be able to tell the difference. But for the price difference of
Does it make
$70 a person, you're going to be like, well, what is this? This is higher than what you've ever purchased on your own to cook at home.
Yeah.
So it's an amazing grade. It's Black Angus. It's phenomenal, but it's just not this dry aged, overdone
Yeah.
thing, right? So it's almost like steakhouse street food done right. And I was
Yeah.
like, well, if I can do
That's a good way to
this
put it.
properly and give it to people properly, like why can't I just do a happy hour on it? Well, you're gonna do a happy hour on steak? Well, yeah, because on my sides and the cocktails, everything that's like an equal balance.
Yeah.
I was always a numbers dude. And I was like, this makes sense. Let's give it a shot. And I remember we did it, and I lost a fuck ton of money.
Fuck, dude. Dinner's over. Happy hour is my
Fuck
shit.
this happy hour.
No, that's what happened. I was just like, damn, you fucked that up good. But then I learned about like, I know you guys were waiting for like a good, like, oh yeah, it worked. No, it didn't work at all.
Yeah.
And
It worked for the customer a lot.
it worked
Yeah.
for the customer, but
That's
I
how I
realized like,
found
it
out
doesn't
about it.
matter.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it in the masses.
Yeah.
I was
Volume.
like volume, and then people still didn't even come in. Like we couldn't get people to come in and save our lives. But the happy hour started picking up, and they started coming down because of us. They loved us. And then at that time, I started learning what it was to like buy in futures and buy in bulk and like future contracts. And I just started really getting down to like the learning what it was to butcher in-house, the amount of money we were going to save. And we were able to start hitting those prices during a happy hour.
Wait, so you butcher in-house?
We were butchering in-house until we were moving so much beef
Sure.
that the company was just like, wait a minute, you're doing 50, 60,000 drops a week? And we couldn't believe it. I mean, we went from a staff of 4 to a staff of 50 within like 9-10 months.
Sheesh.
And it wasn't because of that. It was because like the accolades had blown up.
Yeah.
And it was like a really weird time, right? Because we were partying hard at Herbs. Hard. Like it was so
Restaurant.
It's
much.
the only way to make it a successful
life.
place.
You know what I
really.
mean? Like we would have top 50 judges coming in to look at Herbs and like, all right, here we go. We're going to see if these guys are qualified for top 50 bars. There's like a 300-pound dude on the bar top with no shirt, and a lady's like slapping him in the face with a ribeye. And this guy's like trying to propose to her. Like just crazy fucking shit, the parties we threw in the place. Like, it had
Love
to be.
that. I love
This
that.
sounds awesome.
Yeah, I've been to a bar mania at Herbs, and they're fucking wild.
It's nuts, bro. It was fucking nuts. And, you know, we just had such a good time in the partying and the drinking. And then, you know, that shit it's fun until it's not.
Yeah.
Can you walk the listeners through some of the accolades that you guys have won that obviously you used to catapult Herbs to where it is now too? Hit them with it real quick.
You gonna laugh at that too? I don't know.
You really don't even know?
Nah, man, I don't keep track of that shit.
Okay.
I know I got a few like congressional recognitions and shit like
Okay.
that, like big ones. I got Tell's Awards. I mean, this sounds fucked up. Right? I should know this stuff, right? But I don't know. I'll tell you this.
I mean, look,
I'll
even
send you a
better.
picture of my girl keeps them, and
Right.
it's like a pile. But to say like I hang them up,
Yeah. That's just
Yeah, the
it's not
authenticity
it.
of
a
it too,
pile is more than a few.
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
I remember at one point in time we were getting like.
I think it's really important for viewers or for listeners or for anyone who's looking for restaurants or somewhere to eat too, because look, we joke about the lists and stuff all the time too, because they're completely arbitrary. But some people do look at those because marketing, as you don't necessarily do it too, but there's so many restaurants who just flood the marketing with beautiful photos and all these things too. And the food looks incredible and they do this award and that award or top 10 restaurants in this boutique little area or whatever it is. So sometimes those real lists can be very helpful. People utilize
No, they
them to
work. They
find them,
definitely work. Like when I won. When I won Bartender of the Year with Nightclub and Bar, I was like, oh, like you won Nightclub and Bar. And I was like, oh, all right, cool. That night, the Nightclub and Bar convention was in town.
Yeah.
And I accepted the award. It was in front of thousands of people. I didn't even know it was like that.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know Nightclub and Bar got
It's huge.
down like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it fucking, and
gnarly.
I had Barmania the next day. Ooh. What a fucking shit show. You know, you're just like, all right, here we go. Let's raise money for cancer by getting a fuck ton of people shit faced.
Yeah,
and raised,
blasted.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean that event raises $47,000 in 3 hours.
It's crazy.
You know?
Crazy.
So I mean, I remember people were just kind of pouring in and being like, "Oh, like you won this," or so, and it would get kind of weird too.
Yeah.
Like when you start winning that much, it's almost like you don't want to win. Like because just that standard is so high, and you're just like, it's like the Pacquiao Mayweather fight. It was like nothing they could do
Yeah, nothing good
was
have
ever going to
happened.
meet,
meet the
that.
hype.
The
Yeah.
expectations.
Yeah, yeah.
So like when all these stuff started coming out, we were getting like it got to the point we were getting weird ass fucking awards, like best happy hour at 1:32 in the morning. It's like that's an award.
That's what we're talking about. Like,
that's what I'm
saying, yeah.
Who won
Those
the
are the lists
133
that we're talking
one?
about.
You know, like,
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
oh, Cleaver did perfect.
Cleaver did. Oh, cool,
Back to back. We get back to
But it
back.
was weird stuff like best happy hour without a neon sign and shit. Like
Yeah.
I was like, yo, what the fuck are these things?
Cool, thanks, I guess.
But I will say this: at one point in time, Herbs was winning. Herbs was getting so much shit, so many awards that I didn't have money to put them in frames because I was still broke at the time. We were still broke.
Yeah.
So it's just the whole thing was just crazy.
Yeah, we feel you. It's definitely a misconception for sure for some people.
And for people that don't know, this happy hour is literally insane. It's like the coolest thing I've ever. That's what drew me to actually come and.
Well, I
check
think
out
that's what
Herbs
draws
Rye.
everyone, especially all the locals that have built that kind of cult following. You know, from the initial
man.
5 to 8 p.m. and then midnight to closing.
Well, now it's all day.
Well, now it's all day, but initially it was
Yeah,
5
midnight
to
to
8
3.
and then
Midnight to
midnight to
3,
3
I don't even know
a.m.
it's all day now. It's crazy.
Yeah,
all day
it's
now.
Yeah, and it was half off
For
all
coronavirus.
steaks.
Coronavirus,
dude.
Yeah.
Come on in.
I might do a date night soon. You know what I'm saying? This feels
I mean, it is
nice.
our favorite date night spot by far. And
sure.
our thing is we never like make a reservation because we're locals.
Yeah.
But we would go at 5 p.m. because if you try to go to like happy hour at 7 and just walk in, not fucking
not chance,
happening.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's nostalgic because we would go at 5. There'd be a fucking line of people, some locals,
Waiting.
some tourists,
Yeah.
waiting outside for these fucking doors to open. So we'd go and sit at the bar. You know,
Yeah.
being in the industry, like I want to sit at the bar. I don't want to be served by a server. I sit at the bar, chop it up with the bartenders with my girl, get a steak, some cocktails. That's another thing. We've touched on it before. Herbs and Rye is known as a cocktail bar. Usually steakhouses, people want to see the wine list and bottles of wine. I never drink fucking wine at Herbs and
Yeah,
Rye.
yeah,
Never.
yeah.
Always cocktails.
Always
Bro,
cocktails, for sure.
I just had this conversation the other day. Was just like, yo, that it just like it has a good wine. Probably has like 20, 30 bangers.
Yeah.
Wines, but no, man.
I've never drank wine at Herbs.
With
Yeah.
Cleaver's a
Yeah.
different story. But
Yeah.
you want to know when I knew Cleaver or Herbs was a different level?
Yeah.
When we were booked out for like 2-3 weeks in advance. Like you couldn't get a reservation in. I brought my family and I had to sit in the office to eat. Right. And I was like, cool.
Yeah.
This is good. Like we're blessed. Because that's all I ever wanted
Yeah.
was just success, right? To have stability for the people, not just me, the people around me. But I remember that day I had got to Cleaver, or to Herbs, I mean. Cleaver wasn't even in the talks yet. And there was a line that went all the way down. And it was hot outside. I was like, fucking, this was like 4:30.
Yeah, bro.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like,
Prime
these
time.
motherfuckers are waiting. This is amazing. So I go out there and, just like, hey, thank you. And,
Yeah.
and we're opening up. And it was probably about like, I don't know, like 8 o'clock at night. And this incident happened at the bar next door where unfortunately somebody had gotten killed in the back alley. I shit you not. This behind another bar. So it's like Herbs and then the bar called Goat now. But at
Goat,
that time
yeah.
it was a place called Shifty's. Now Shifty's was
Some shifty shit was happening.
Some
in the
shifty
back.
shit.
well, the owner of
Sketch.
the owner of Shifty's cut the door like 2 inches above, so like you can see the light. And I was like, "What's that for?" He's like, "That's so the cockroaches can get out." I was like,
my
"Damn, this place is
Christ,
different."
bro.
But anyways, the cops go and they red tape the whole. They tape
Yeah.
up the whole shit. It's like a murder scene, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fucking murder scene to the right of Herbs and Rye.
Yeah.
And I hear this lady screaming at the fucking cop. She was screaming at the cop because where he had put the tape to shut off this murder scene was she had to walk all the way around and she was going to be late and not make happy hour.
Oh, okay.
I love
Bro,
that.
I was sitting out there like,
Oh my god.
yo, we made it.
We
Move
made
this
it.
dead
We
person.
made it, bro. We
Yeah,
made
yeah.
it.
And I
She
was
didn't give a
like,
shit
yo,
about that.
and I felt so like, I'm like there's a human, bro. Like, what?
Dead. Dead. There's a dead body there.
Yeah.
But there's also a really good rate on cocktails.
There's
and steaks.
also half off steaks and
Yeah, yeah,
cocktails.
She's gonna pay another
She's-
$30
and
bucks.
She's telling me, she's like, I almost missed my reservation. And I'm
Oh
like,
no.
There's a stupid dead guy outside. Sorry, I'm late.
what the fuck? All right.
Don't worry, man. We'll
I
honor it
guess.
for you.
Like, I couldn't believe it, man. But I mean, like, I just don't handle stuff different way. Like, people that are negative and shit,
Yeah.
like people who Yelp and shit like that. Like,
Oh.
I fire back on them. Like, I don't.
Right.
You should. So being in hospitality for so long, is the customer always right?
No.
Absolutely fucking not.
Absolutely not.
No. If a
Good.
customer walks in and punches owner in the face, is he right? No. I mean, it's there's a mutual respect amongst, like, we're in the hospitality industry, right?
Sure.
Like, so it's our job to make sure that we are doing what is best for our guests to help them in the best ability possible that they are willing to help themselves. It is not our job to carry people to a point of making decisions that are going to alter other people's life in negativity. Like that. That's the way it
Makes
boils
sense.
down.
That was really good. Have you said that before?
No, I just,
That was really fucking
that shit
good. That was really good. That was
you
really
know,
good.
it's like nobody can take you out of your element. All of us right here. I
Yeah.
can sit here and start cussing at you and flipping out, and you guys would be like, "This interview went weird."
Yeah.
But nobody can physically, nobody can take you out of your mental element besides you, unless I'm physically hitting you,
Yeah.
or something happens. So I'm aware of that aspect as far as us. But some people, like, it's not my job to control a racist.
Yeah.
It's not my job to control somebody who just goes in with the intent of creating, negativity into this excellent vibe that you have. Now, there's some people, though, that doesn't give you the right as a business owner to just shit on people who disagree with you.
Yeah.
That's the challenge in the food and beverage industry, right? Like, I meet people all the time who just, like
I said, the food and beverage industry is so opinionated.
yeah,
on both
they come in
sides.
really mad.
Yeah.
And your goal is to, like, that's the challenge. I want to make them happy. Like, I've had people come in and just be mad,
Mad.
real mad, and I'm just like, dude, like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'll start laughing like, yo, you guys came in hot, huh?
That's why you're mad?
I'll come right into the table. It's like, yo, you guys came in hot, huh? Who spilled your champagne? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what's going on, man?
And they'll just like realize. But you got to realize a lot of people, it's kind of like when you ask the waiter, like, how's this steak? They're like, phenomenal. You're like, I'll take it. He didn't tell you shit.
Yeah.
He just reassured your
That your
common sense.
choice was
We know
okay,
the answer
yeah.
to 50% of the stuff we want.
Yeah.
Actually, the salmon's disgusting. I'm glad you asked. You shouldn't get that.
yeah,
Oh,
don't
okay.
get
Don't get that.
Yeah.
And if your waiter's just sitting there going like, no, I wouldn't do that one, like, evaluate your restaurant as a whole. I think a lot of time
Yeah, for sure.
Ooh,
we don't take blame. You know, like you got to take blame in yourself of who you are as a person. At what point in time do you just look at yourself and say, what went wrong and what did I not provide for this to go this way? And
Yeah.
if you've done everything that you possibly can and then it doesn't work, then
And-
evaluate it from there.
And their own set of expectations, right? People come in with whatever. It's meant to be high, super low, not just.
the longer you're in the industry, though, too, you're like, look, you just understand being in food and beverage, it is an unwinnable thing to keep everybody happy. You just go for the majority, the people who really have a good take on your stuff, and you go in.
But there's a lot of people who just generally don't even know what they want. They're just
Exactly.
they want to be heard. They need guidance. They need understanding, and they just want that. But they don't want you to know that they need a vision and a guidance and
Yeah.
understanding. You know, like somebody can walk. I had a guest, one
So
time.
that's when you serve a steak. The guy hates steak. This was bad. Well, why'd you order a steak, sir?
You know,
what I mean?
I had a guy that came in. He was just like, everything on this menu, like I've never had it. It doesn't even sound good. And I'm like, well, what do you like?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm kind of and I just pieced together. I'm like, well, do this, and if you don't like it, I'll eat it. You know, so we piece together something for him. We make it right for him, and to the point where like, if you are so polite to somebody, eventually that person will realize if they continue to be negative that they're the asshole.
Yeah, for sure.
Boom.
100%.
Yeah.
Like,
That's good.
100%.
And I think that you just got to put that into the mentality of your whole team as a whole. Like we're all in this to genuinely create something beautiful here.
Yeah.
Like we're creating magic here. And if people aren't on board on that, you just do your very best and you never give up, and that's the challenge. But if somebody's just like a jerk, I had these people walk in I had a guy walk in one time, famous bartender, I won't drop names, but guy walks in and he's like, you know who I am? I'm like, no, but he's like, oh, how did you make that? I'm like, it's a fucking, like, it's a rum and Coke. I'm like, well, rum, Coke.
And some ice, a little ice.
Yeah.
And
You're welcome.
And I'm just like, hey, you look familiar? Do I know you? And he was just like, yeah. I'm like, I'm the number one bartender in the country or some shit. He just won some big award.
Yeah.
So I was like, dude, I apologize. I didn't know that. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I said,
yeah.
bro, let me give me 1 second. And at Herbs, like you got to walk around.
Yeah,
So I'll
yeah,
walk all the
yeah.
way around. I'm like, come with me right this way. And I'm like, this is this, and and he's with a girl too. And you can hang out. I'm just gonna show him something. So he thinks I'm taking him somewhere, and I just walked him directly out the front door. I was like, get the fuck out of here, bro.
That was a great lead up, by the way. I wasn't
You
expecting
can
that.
hang out and kick it, girl.
I love that.
You can stay here, girl.
Fuck out of here, bro.
Yeah.
Like I'm not like you walk into a place and just like start saying you're the number one big
Yeah.
shit in the world. Like I don't even want to fuck with you.
Yeah, bro, we're busy right here. I don't have, like
I don't.
That's amazing.
I
was
love
really
that.
engaged in that story too, and I wasn't expecting that answer. That was
Yeah, man, I
fucking
walked
awesome.
him right out, bro. So the next year, a few years later, I won that
You won it.
award, and I bump into him. I'm actually cool with him now. Yeah.
Okay.
And he just looks at me, and he was doing a podcast one time, and they're like, so Nectaly Mendoza won this year, and he just goes, yo, that guy did the most gangster shit to me ever, and one of the biggest reality checks I ever had.
That's
and,
right.
and he tells the story.
That's awesome.
And they're just like, he walked you out. He was like, dude, he was like cheering me on. He's like, absolutely, let me show you. He goes, he actually gave me a tour of the kitchen and everything.
And, on the
And
way
here's
out.
the fucking door.
And he goes, and because I told him, I said, I want to make sure that you saw everything and everything you lost out on. And I wanted you to meet everybody that will never fucking serve a person like you with that attitude.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
And he was just
yeah.
like, he was like confused. He was just like, the fuck? And I fucking just closed the door. I went back in, started bartending. And she's
That's
like,
fucking
and the girl was
great.
like, where is he? I was like, I don't know. I think he went outside to smoke. I never told her anything.
Yeah.
Bought
That's
a few
so
rounds, she got
funny.
a blast.
That's unbelievable.
Never heard from them again.
That feels like one of our highlight clips right there.
it's
Easily.
a 100%.
love that, yo.
We don't have a lot of time left, but I do want to ask you something too, because you had some major things, obviously, outside of business that happened to you or that you changed in your life. And I want to see, like, I think there's a lot of things that people now, especially, but anytime too, changing in their personal lives, whether it be family or major lifestyle changes, and you lost a ton of weight. How did correcting that help your business? How did you you become clear after that too? How did that really help your whole life inside and outside of business, and kind of how did you get there?
As a whole?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's start off with I remembered shit.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's positive.
No, man. I don't regret anything that I did. The truth of the matter is when you see success like that and you built success off of everything that you've never had, it comes quick. And everything is fun until it's not. And you're kind of reckless at it, right? Like I picked up, I knew I was an alcoholic at a real young age, though. Like I started drinking and doing dope when I was real young, like 12, 11, different in my neighborhood, and I kind of like never went that hard with the drugs and alcohol until later on. But like the reason Herbs is so beautiful is because of everything that happened. Like my brother died the first year that I opened up. He had cancer, then he, contracted HIV, died from AIDS, and then my grandmother had died a few years later. So I was like going through a lot, but that's all kind of excuses of why you do what you do, right?
Right.
Because like we were talking earlier, you kind of blame everything, opposed to just saying, I'm doing these things. But when it came to like making changes, I almost died, almost OD'd at Tales of the Cocktail, and then I just had, people just kind of, talk to me and say, like, what are you doing? Nobody ever really called me out for it.
Right.
Because I was a closet user. Like, my girl never even knew that time. I don't smoke anymore, but I was, like, smoking. Like, my girl and my family knew nothing. Nobody knew nothing but a few, like, dark corners. And we were partying so hard that they just thought it was part of the show. But inside, so everybody thought I was just this fucking, like, hero. But the truth of the matter is I was just buckling at the seams, right? So when it all came crumbling down, I just kind of disappeared for a while. And then I got my head straight and I started focusing because like everything around me was just kind of like we were having all these parties but then like people were going to jail. And like when I won my first Tellers Award, I had like 9 felons working, and they were trying to get their lives together. And so I had to be like the leader of the pack because we were all fucking up as a whole.
Yeah.
Because we still to this day, like we all just kind of like ride or die with the whole crew, right?
Yeah.
And if I'm the one doing it all, it's like there was just like a lot of pressure there. And there was a lot of stuff going on that I would use as those anchors of excuse. So I just got sober. And when I got sober, like the clarity of life as a whole, because you go through stages, right? Through sobriety, it's like you evaluate your life. Then you feel like you failed. Then you feel like you can't control shit and you're not in control. So you just go through a lot of stuff when it comes to sobriety, but then you kind of build yourself. And because you're searching for that sense of joy that you got from doing what you were doing. But once you can find that sense of joy without anything, this is not just drugs, alcohol, this is food, sugar, whatever it is that your vice is.
Right.
And you can find that joy without any, what I call like a steroid to it, that level of satisfaction in life is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And then you're just kind of untouchable, like you're godsend at that point, right? Like every single thing that you can reach without anything in the way.
Yeah, you gain that control back.
So that clarity that you got is fucking bananas. And when that happened, I disappeared in Singapore for a while. Then I was in Puerto Rico hiding on a beach for a while. I disappeared from everything. But I also never ran from anything. Like I would be at like within a year, I'd be like at bars hanging out because I didn't want to be like, I don't want to be triggered. Like I fucking hate that shit.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, how about I just be around it all the time?
Yeah. Be stronger than
like,
it. Yeah.
let's stay sober at this fucking Coke lab.
Yeah.
You know?
There it
Let's
is,
stay
dude.
sober at this fucking bar.
Yeah.
So I went head first into everything. I was raised by drug dealers. I was raised by people that were like, just didn't live what other people thought was the best kind of life. But to me, they were the ones who were buying me food
making the
and
bread.
shit,
Yeah.
So I just had a different upbringing, man. And so I put everything head on, and I don't hide from anything. But the clarity with business, it just made me sharper. It made me understand that my artistry was in its purest form now. So once I did that, it just made me a better father, a better human being as a whole. Everything that I did, man.
Awesome.
And the clarity that it gave me in business was one like no other. Zero doubts in your mind. The only thing that you're really questioning when it comes to business is how successful you want it to be and at what level, because you can rush your success. You know, so like I just believe in doing everything organically now. Like if I just not feeling it, I'll just walk away. Like anything, top to like I'll be in a conversation if I feel people just start being negative. Like I just get up and leave.
Yeah.
Like weird shit, and they're just like, "Where'd he go?" I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's like I just cut all negativity out of my life, and that positivity that it brought towards business was fucking nuts.
Game changing.
Yeah. So when I started doing like Cleaver, I was like, I joke around saying Cleaver was, Cleaver was herbs with money, but
Yeah.
I mean, there was herbs with
Yeah,
money.
it's very nice. Very nice inside. Yeah.
But herbs with clarity, too.
Like shit works. you know?
Yeah.
Like, but like herbs is completely rebuilt now, but with Cleaver, it was more so of just kind of like the everything that we had learned over those years. Like we knew how to actually measure a booth, and put in flooring, do the electrical right.
Yeah.
But then there was a lot of stuff. Like a lot of people always look at the pictures that are on the walls, but there's like stories behind them, right? Like why is Chris Farley on that wall?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, because we all know how Chris Farley died in the moments of his greatness.
Yeah.
So that's like I put that up there to remind me of what I've done in life, that I could have ended that way.
Yeah.
I have, Martha Stewart on the wall because I'm like, that's the definition of like you being able to fuck up and still kind of like come back.
Yeah.
So like
not a
every
rat.
picture has like an individual
Authentic.
meaning to it. Is kind of fucking weird.
Yeah.
But everything, I'm a strong believer that just everything kind of has to have a reason for you to believe in it more than others, and then they'll follow that with you.
Of course.
Like, and I think that a lot of people in business, what they'll do is they'll just kind of overstamp their artistry. It's like if you were painting a picture and I said, "Yo, draw me a picture," and I came up and I said, "Yo," and you're poor, and I give you $10 for that picture. I say, "Yo, if you make 1 million of them, I'll give you $3." And now you pimped out by the industry, right? So now you make all these pictures and they're not as nice as the first ones, and then you devalue yourself, opposed to standing back and being like, "No, I'm just going to draw
do what
one
you have to
perfect
do.
picture and sell it for $1 million."
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest flaws in the industry, for me, and this is what I stand by, and everybody else can do business however they want. Do you in your purest form. Express yourself in your purest form when it comes to business. Let everybody else do what they do best. It's like if you were an artist, everybody begs to get in the industry, and you see it. I want to be a whatever it is. I just want to be in this industry. And say you're an artist, like a singer. I want that record deal. Like you chase that fucking record deal, and then the record deal comes up and it's like, you don't know no better. You come from the street. You come from nothing. So they offer you this record deal, but it's better than what you got now. So you take this fucking deal.
But terrible in general, but better than what you have.
But at what point in time do you, as the artist, and I feel that this has always been my success to sum it all up, is I always looked at them and said, like, you can't sell a fucking record without me.
Yeah.
And that's what Herbs Rye is. Like, I just feel like I don't need to sell my artistry for cheap. I don't need to sell myself short, and I don't need to rush it. I build organically how I want to build in my purest form.
Yeah.
And I just kind of don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. I
And
just let it grow organically, and I do me in my purest form. My team thinks the same way. And if it happens, it happens. And I'm not in a rush to become this multi-billionaire. I'm not in a rush to fail. So I just let everything just go the way it needs to go, man.
Love that, man.
Damn, I fucking love that. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
That's success, right? That's
My success has never been based on money, man.
exactly.
It's been
That's
based on the people around me.
exactly
Right.
100%.
Like, I do everything for the people around me.
It's rad, man.
Yeah, seriously. Honestly, unbelievable story. I think we could go on for another 2 more hours too, but we're serious.
I mean, so what's next though? Before
Yeah.
we get into our last
Yeah.
little segment that we do, what's next for
I'm
you?
Burger King right now.
That flame grilled Whopper, baby.
And get a water so you can get a Sprite.
You don't have to release too many details, but just a quick little
What is
1 or
next
2 minutes.
as far as me?
yeah,
what's
business
next?
goes. Yeah,
I don't know, man. We'll play it by ear. I'm really just enjoying time with my family right now, and I'm really enjoying the fact that we're open
Yep.
and we're successful. I think with this whole pandemic, there was a silver lining in a lot of it. To just understand how much we really don't need to be happy.
For sure.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely.
Just to kind of figure out, like, we all went crazy for like 2 weeks because the reality of what this world did to us is that it physically made us do what we've been mentally doing for years. Like, we go to dinner and I'm on my phone. I've been ignoring people for years.
Yeah.
Now we physically got to do it, and now we don't like it. So I think this has kind of like been the rebalance. But
push people back to human interaction or wanting it at least.
You know, like I want to have a conversation with people, and I don't want to just sit there and read tweets and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like never did in the first place, but like I know people that like I'm like, yo, you live your life like this. So for me, it's just continue to live with clarity, and we'll see about expanding, and we'll see about doing more projects. But I mean, if it happens, it happens. But no, man, there's really no plan. The plan is to just fucking.
Well, if there is, let us break the news. All right,
Yeah.
just come to us. If you
if
got
something
something in the
happens,
pipeline.
it's just like it'll just happen.
I like it.
I might walk out tomorrow and see a fucking restaurant for sale and be like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah.
You know.
Drunk lady eating tacos. You never know what's gonna happen, man.
Or,
Slanted clams for sale.
Yeah.
You might look at you might like read a story of me like, yo, this motherfucker like moved down to the mountains and started fucking like
I like that. Keep it open.
chopping
though.
wood and don't do shit no more. You never know.
love it.
I do whatever makes
That'd be
me
rad.
happy. I do whatever makes my team happy.
That's great. Well, honestly, the story is incredible. We really appreciate you coming on, 100%.
Thanks for having me, man.
Guys, make sure if you are in Vegas or you live in Vegas, you go to Herbs and Rye, you go to Cleaver. They're unbelievable. Check them out. We'll wrap it up with Eat It, Drink It, Binge It, as we always do. So I will give you a little time to come around too, but it's just recommendations. I think for the Eat It, people would love to hear like what your Vegas recommendations are outside of Cleaver and Herbs and Rye, obviously. But I'll start real quick too. My Eat It, King's Fish House. You ever been there?
No.
Green Valley Ranch?
Yeah.
Dude, is that your Eat It?
Dude, that's my Eat It. I just wanted to get.
It's my like.
I just want an
Lucille's.
East Coast feeling like fish house style place. And we went there the other day too. It was actually pretty bomb. Like tufted leather, all that stuff too, where you feel like you're kind of on that like East Coast
I've
vibe.
been there for a long time.
Yeah, it was
me
actually-
neither.
Yeah, honestly, it was really good.
Was it bomb?
Yeah, it was really good. The menu was great. They have spots in California, Arizona too. Super good. It's by like my side of the town too. Really good, actually. Bomb. Like
All
it.
right.
Recommendation.
Nice. All right.
You're looking. You're gonna get a try.
I always
Check out
pass
Jeff's
it.
Eat It's, bro.
I always pass it. I never go in.
Dude, seriously, it's one of those things, and it was slammed, like absolutely
Really?
slammed.
All right,
yeah.
I'm gonna try
It's one of
it.
those like sometimes you forget to like call for reservations or whatever. Too. He's like, yeah, I'll just go real quick. You're like, oh yeah, sure, 45 minutes. I'm like, the fuck? What? You know who I am? I'm the number one bartender in the country.
Guy's like,
Yeah.
Right this way, sir.
Follow me.
Right this way.
Special
Yeah.
door.
Yeah, exactly. All right, yeah. Take your clams and buy.
Yeah.
All right, what's your Eat It? What do you got, Lo?
So I just got back from Miami, super tanned right now.
Super tan
Super
right
tan,
now.
going crazy. But I tried Venezuelan food for the first time.
Okay.
So the place is called Bocas, which stands for his mouth in Spanish, unless you guys knew that.
Okay.
But it was really cool. Everything was fried and cheesy, which is really interesting. Like they had arepas, and they had like this really like cool mixed plate. They had like chorizo, steak, chicken, all these three different kinds of cheeses.
So filling meals,
Man,
heavy.
heavy.
Oh, in
Going
Miami.
crazy. In Miami.
Boca's Grill, right?
Boca's Grill,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've seen it on Instagram.
Really?
She looks-
Wow.
I've seen it on, yeah.
Oh
Wow.
shit! The shit was dope, and it was
Yeah.
like the food was incredible. It was
Awesome.
great.
Are there Venezuelan spots in Vegas?
I have to check now, but
Okay.
that's like that whole.
Not like this
category.
one, obviously.
No, I don't know. I'll
Yeah.
find out. I'll let you guys know. But
Yeah,
I tried.
okay.
It was fire.
Okay, yeah, do some research. Do some ethnic research like you always do, you know what I'm
Always.
saying?
I got the Asian market on lock already.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
All right, what do you got, Drew?
My Eat It was, I had a little brunch over the weekend with my family, and my mom brought over these little, they're like mini pre-packaged crepes filled with Nutella. It's called La Boulangerie.
What'd you call me?
Okay.
La Boulangerie.
I'm bougie.
They're from Costco. Little folded crepes stuffed with Nutella. Bro, pop that bitch in the microwave for like 6-7 seconds.
Oh, you made it a little warm.
It's fire.
I'll have to take your word for it.
They're
Look-
minis. They're minis. Grab some for Melissa.
I can't eat
She'll
Nutella.
thank you, bro.
She can eat it now.
I'll send you a picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. We'll go to Costco just to.
They're fire. They're fire.
There's pregnancy
yeah,
treats.
legumes.
Yeah, there's pregnancy treats, so we'll hook her up for it. Yeah. All right, this is big moment now. Natalia, what do you got? What's your Eat It? What's your Eat It recommendation for anyone in Vegas that's not Herbs and Rye or Cleaver? What do you got?
Go to the hood
Okay.
and go to La Mojarra Loca.
Ooh.
La Mojado Loca.
Okay.
You never been there?
Explain.
Mojarra Loca, man. It's like all seafood, aguachiles.
I have been there.
It's just, you been there?
Yeah.
Sketch.
It's
But
sketch.
dope.
He said.
It's like
Sketch,
super.
but
It's like
it's-
Northeast side.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know exactly
Yeah,
what you're
it's
talking
like
about.
it's
Is it like a restaurant or just like a grab and go little spot?
no,
or
it's a restaurant.
Sit down spot.
Full out bands, everything.
What's it-
But
what's it
it's
called?
La Mojarra
Loca.
Loca.
Drew's sounding.
I'm butchering that
Drew's
fucking
white
spelling
sounding
for
it out
sure.
right now too. Morjara.
O-R.
Yeah.
It's a more. It's a Morjara. Loca.
Did you find it?
No, I just wrote it.
Yeah, yeah, I'll
I
spell
wrote
it
it in my notes.
Off the set.
I'll attempt that later.
Off the air, I'll look that
No,
up
La
too.
Mojarra Loca, man. It's like legendary.
Okay.
Sketchier the better, you know.
I
what
like
mean?
that too. Yeah, for sure. Wow, it's a good recommendation right now too. Now I really want to go. By the way, after this whole episode, I'm fucking starving.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
for sure.
All right, my drink it. New wine, Anomaly. Very good. It's a Napa cab. Unbelievable. Had it the other night too at Summit Club actually. Super good. Was turned on to it. Anomaly, the brand is called. So good. Their cab. Check it out. If you're a wine person, super good. Anomaly. It's
Got
hot. Hot wine.
What's the price point?
Hot wine.
Yes, $75.
Yeah, nothing
No,
crazy.
yeah,
Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. But really good. Really good. It's not like a $1,000 bottle of wine or anything. Jesus.
That was $75 a glass.
Yeah.
I'm that $8 apothic red motherfucker,
like
bro.
$40 salads and shit.
No. This is. By the way, I didn't pay for this dinner either.
He probably does.
Salad is
You
wild.
made it. You made it.
Bro, yeah.
We're trying. As long as they're comped. Retail price. All right. What do you got? What are you drinking?
So
Lon?
I learned. I didn't even know that Cleaver and Herbs were like based off a cocktail bar. So I'm gonna go to Cleaver. I'm changing
Well,
my.
I'm actually going tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to Cleaver and try the cocktails. I always
Yeah.
come because I knew about the food. So I'm gonna go have a cool little cocktail, sit at the bar and try it out. I'm a big cocktail guy now because of these lounges at the Venetian.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna come check it out.
Yes, it's a similar menu. So when I went to Cleaver, I always get the jalapeno cream corn at Herbs and Rye, but you don't have it at Cleaver. You have the Mexican street corn.
The street corn, yeah.
Which is also fire.
Yeah.
So I'm going
Yeah.
to get that tomorrow.
Yeah. We need another residency outing. Oh,
let's do it.
Yeah,
there you go. Another residency outing.
My drink it is another little brunch thing that we had at my house. My brother came over and made micheladas.
Okay.
Okay.
So he made it with Pacifico, the clamato juice, tahini, chamoy rim, all that shit, lime juice. It was bomb.
My wife has been craving one, and she's pregnant. Obviously, can't drink, so we had to make a virgin michelada.
How did you do that?
How'd you do that?
With zero alcohol, Heineken. Oh. Yeah. She needed the whole thing. Had
That's what zero
Yeah,
percent
got it,
is
got
for.
it, got it. Strictly for pregnant people.
Yeah, because you got the
Strictly for pregnant people.
because you got the beer taste.
Exactly. So you got the whole thing.
I
It
drink
still
them.
tastes the same too. Yeah. They taste really good. Honestly, they taste just like Heineken. They did a really good job at it too. But yeah, the whole thing.
Yeah, because I feel like you don't drink a michelada to get fucked up. I'm blacked out.
Yeah.
Michelada is the flavor.
I used to.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
That's why we ended up here.
Keep them coming, baby. Keep them coming. So what are you drinking, my man? What can you tell these people to go drink?
You know what?
It can be anything. It doesn't have to be alcohol. It can be.
It could be
No,
anything.
I'll tell you right now. Go back to the hood.
Okay.
Wow.
The Broadacre Swap Meet and hit La Agua Fresca stands.
Broadacre swap meet.
Yeah, Agua Fresca.
Writing this down.
There you go.
Hey, that was my drink it.
Yeah.
Like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like go into the center of the Broadacre Swap Meet, and they have just rows and rows of straight Agua Frescas. It's fucking phenomenal.
Oh wow.
Do you got a favorite little concoction?
Where
Like
there?
flavors, like watermelon, cucumber.
Oh no, they just built it for you right there. They press it there.
Ooh.
So it's like in jarra, scoop
That's
out, you
fire.
go. That's it. You add tahini.
we might have to make a trip, baby.
I'll be there tomorrow. I get there at 7 a.m.
Damn, bro.
Might have to make a trip. Well, all right, cool. We'll end it out really quick on Binge It because we're a little over on time too. My binge is the Comey Rule. Comey Rule, if you like political, like thrillers, it's about Jim Comey
Oh,
and
got
that
it,
whole
got it.
situation of him investigating Hillary and then transitioning into being the FBI director when Trump took president. Crazy.
What is it on Netflix?
It's on
What's it
Showtime.
Showtime.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the actor who plays Donald Trump is like scary on.
Spot on?
Like scary on.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, dude.
Yeah, and Jeff Daniels is Jim Comey.
Oh shit. Okay, got it.
super
Super Daniels
good.
is dope. Yeah.
super good. And if you like political style movies or shows, this is like perfect thing to do, which I love.
House
So-
of Cards. Fire.
Yeah.
Fire.
It's great. So check this out too. It's not long. It's like literally 2 episodes. It's just like a really long documentary, but movie style. Really good. Check it out. What do you got?
Interesting. So I played this movie because I was like, I'm gonna put it in the background and try to fall asleep, and I couldn't fall asleep. I got stuck watching this. My Octopus Teacher on Netflix. Have you guys seen this?
That's questionable.
So-
It seems very Drew of you.
So this
Yeah,
guy,
I
no,
love the trash. That sounds
It's
like
either trash or kids.
So
one of the two.
this guy's
None
like-
of which apply to
This
you.
guy's like an award-winning filmmaker, right? And then he goes into the ocean and like sees this octopus, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna go every freaking day, and he goes for like a year, 2 years, every day filming this octopus, and like sees it getting like its arm ripped off, and like does this whole thing. It's really interesting, and it teaches him a bunch of stuff about like life, himself, and
so it's a documentary on one single octopus?
It's about like the guy, but like he went on this long journey about this like octopus. It's really interesting to see.
Wow.
Watch it. It's crazy.
It's like one of those things when you're.
I don't want to tell you the end
when
because
it's
then it'll-
when it's 3:30 a.m. and you finish it and you turn the TV off and you roll your eyes, but God damn it! I
That's
can't
exactly
believe
what
that I'm here.
I played it because I just wanted some background noise, and I kept like, "What just happened? Oh shit! No!"
That'll probably be one that I'm not checking out.
yeah.
Trust me,
All right.
At the end, there's like a thing that happens. That's why it's like
Go watch the Netflix Octopus, everybody.
All right.
All right. What do you got, Drew?
Was this one of yours last week, Ratchet? No? Okay.
No.
Anyway, Ratched. It's the chick from.
My wife had it on too.
Yeah. So Ratched, it's the chick from American Horror Story. It's about a nurse. It's
not my thing.
Yeah. It's about a crazy nurse who grew up as an orphan with her brother. And they go through this crazy shit at he kills some priests and gets locked up, but he goes to a mental institution. She fakes being a nurse, tries to save him. It's crazy. Watch it. Ratched.
And mine was bad.
No, trust me. Ratched.
Melissa
I
loved
won't
it.
even give it away. Yeah.
Do you like American Horror Story and that stuff too?
I mean, we only watch it in October for
But
Halloween.
is it a show or is it a movie?
That's a show.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
show.
yeah, it's a show.
Yeah.
All
Ratched.
right, what are you binging it, Tyler? To? It can be anything: book, movie, podcast, anything you're binging that you want to recommend to anybody.
I rarely,
Besides the residency podcast, obviously.
I rarely ever watch TV.
Okay.
But the other day I watched Inmate Number 1.
Okay.
Danny Trejo's
Oh, Danny
Hey, I
Trejo.
love
Okay.
Danny Trejo.
documentary
Yeah.
of his life.
Okay.
What the fuck?
Crazy.
It's,
Wild, huh?
It's impeccable.
He's an interesting, really interesting guy. I heard, yeah.
What that guy does for a living, like putting back into his community after what he did prior, is just inspirational. It was hands down one of the greatest things I've ever watched.
What's it called? What's it called?
Inmate Number 1.
I'm gonna watch it because I love.
Is it on
documentaries.
Netflix or what is it on?
It was on, I believe, Hulu.
Hulu?
Okay.
Yeah.
We have them
But yeah,
all.
Danny,
We have them all.
It's Danny
Yeah.
Trejo's life and like all the way up to like what he's doing now. Like this guy travels, and whatever city he hits, he will go to the prison and do motivational speeches
Oh my God, I love that.
without anybody booking him. He's the only person that can walk into Folsom Penitentiary without
Bodyguards.
saying that he's there.
Oh, got it.
Like the
Just
prison's
pulls
like,
up.
Danny Trejo's here. Go get 30 inmates, allow him to speak to them.
Wow, that's incredible.
Fucking nuts, dude.
I love that.
Cool story.
Fire.
Watch that one.
Watching that this weekend.
I feel like Nectaly really killed the Eat It, Drink It, Binge It this week.
I know, without knowing, a lot of guests
Really?
come on and are like, fuck,
Yeah,
what am I
yeah.
gonna
Really,
talk about?
we like to do it no prep, so it really has to be what the first thing in your mind is. Guys, thank you for listening to episode 29 in the books. Make sure you again go check out Herbs Rye and Cleaver if you're in Vegas or recommended someone to.
Fire.
They're incredible. Nectaly, thank you so much for coming
thank
on,
you.
man.
Thank
You
you, man.
absolutely
Appreciate
killed it. Follow us at the Residency Pod on Instagram. Make sure you go listen to us on Apple, Spotify, full video on YouTube. Give us those 5 stars. Keep this growth going. We'll see you next week.